Awesome. All right. Well, welcome everybody back to the Post AI podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about the impact that artificial intelligence is going to have on society. AI is taking over the world. It's in a craze right now, but it is going to become integrated into the fabric of our society in really big ways. In the next 3 to 5 years, we're thinking it's probably going to be bigger than the change that the iPhone and smartphones have introduced to the world. So we are talking about the pros and cons, benefits, all that sort of thing of artificial intelligence. And so I have Sloan here. Sloan is a video producer. Thanks for being here. My name is Cameron. I come from a programming background, own a software development company, and have spent a lot of time looking into artificial intelligence and am really excited to play in that field in the future. We have a guest today, Carson Zeter. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, Carson is a kind of rising specialist in no-code tools and AI integrations and connections. No Code Carson is both his Twitter and his TikTok handle, and he has created a ton of really actionable content. If you're wondering how to connect different AI tools to each other, if you're wondering how to build icon sets using Mid-Journey, if you're wondering how to pretty much accomplish a lot of different types of tasks, that you might want to do with artificial intelligence. Carson's got lots of really helpful resources for you, so definitely check out his stuff. But I wanted to open the floor and kind of ask you, Carson, how you got into AI, how you got into computers. You're a computer science major, correct?
Yeah, I'm a computer science major. So I kind of fell down the AI rabbit hole by accident over the winter. I mean, like it was like finals week and like that kind of area, and like ChatGPT like just dropped. So I kind of did some exploring on it, and then like I also knew about like other tools like Copy AI and Jasper, and just like a whole bunch of other AI tools. Like I was like a little confused because like I had like limited knowledge like OpenAI and like all those like AI stuff. I was like, there's no way that like there's all these AI startups popping up at the exact same time, like building from scratch. So I kind of dove like how to like build the AI tools. And I discovered OpenAI and OpenAI's playground and how all that works. And how you can just integrate with OpenAI directly just by API calling inside of an application. And that's kind of how I fell down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. What are some of the cool applications that you've done that you're really excited about?
I built Classroom AI. It's designed as like an AI tool for like helping with like studying or doing assignments, or tutoring. I had an MVP up about a week ago, which was just like basic API calls to OpenAI. But I'm actually launching an update today to it, which has a like an editor, like a Google Doc style editor. And like you can do like a handful of stuff like insert AI text, paraphrase text within it, um, summarize like bodies of text inside of your application. Use like you can ask it like questions and it'll put the like the answer into the text box and you can edit it from there if it needs like tweaking or anything like that, or just like generating like an outline. Like let's say you have like the example I've used is like an essay on like why nicotine is bad for you. Like you put that into the text box right there, and you hit generate outline. It'll give you like the framework for your essay. Like you'll have like this is paragraph 1, this paragraph 2, this paragraph 3, this what your counterpoint could be and whatnot. It's just a way to help like accelerate like the learning process and help like writer's block and all that with like framework.
Very cool. So it's kind of a supernatural integration of like a Google Docs type editing experience with like a ChatGPT, OpenAI experience. So you're basically like, okay, here's your editing tools. We know you're going to write your paper with ChatGPT. You're integrating these tools to
Yeah.
make it as streamlined as possible to actually do that.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you can you can get in trouble for plagiarism for copying from ChatGPT, or you can use AI just to help you get started and like help tweak it to make it better
Right.
and just make it like a lot like more like put together.
Yeah. And I love the concept of doing the outline with ChatGPT. You know, I find that that's sometimes the hardest part. When I wrote my last book, like it took me way longer actually to create the outline than it took me to write the book. Just
Yeah.
because it was so hard for me to figure out where are all the pieces going to go. I had that experience with papers too, you know, in college.
Like the thing that I found with AI is like while like it's obviously super advanced and super helpful for writing stuff, like the actual content it produces is like pretty like mediocre, but like where that'll separate like regular writers from super good writers is like, or like content creators and whatnot, is it's really good for framework and telling you like how like to structure your stuff so you can edit from there. Because like if you just copy paste content from ChatGPT or all these other content tools, you're just going to turn into a robot that like that's the exact same as everybody else. Or if you use that to like enhance or improve your content, that's what's really going to separate you, and it's going to save you a lot of time as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And that's definitely what we found. We've been using, ChatGPT a lot to write content for websites and applications and stuff like that within my company. But we find that like the first pass that the AI does is pretty average, And Sloan, you've been using you've been writing a ton of content with it. Your commercial recently, you want to tell us?
Yeah, I actually, we made a commercial. It's still in the rough phase, but we made a commercial with where we took 40 minutes of interviews, and I was able to ChatGPT help me to figure out how to actually like concisely consolidate the points. And so it's an amazing summarizer. For me, I think that's where the power comes from, is the ability to summarize thoughts or larger pieces of content down to something and distill it into something that's actually usable. And so, basically, I edited the video and saved a massive amount of time just using this. And so that's, I think we've only just started scratching the surface of what this thing is capable of.
Yeah. Carson, what are some other things that you've considered building, or what are some of the things that you're really interested in creating?
I mean, like right now, I'm just trying to keep the shiny object syndrome down to minimal. So I'm kind of doing this, but I have messed with AI a lot and like what you can do with it. And I think like one of the things that like I found is like it's like for analysis and like automations with like if you have like an email thing, for example, like instantly, and you're doing follow-ups and whatnot. Like right now, like the way that's done is like it stops like if someone replies with no, like it has to be like no, then it'll stop, as opposed to like having like an AI analyze it and like have the AI decide like is this something that should be followed up with or not. This is really good with like analyzations with processes and whatnot. I mean, like you can take like it's not like, I haven't messed it a ton with like this example, but I mean, like you can take like a leads response and have like AI decide like, is this good to follow up on or what or not? And I mean, yeah, like it's really good when you power it with like automated processes.
Yeah. Wow. That's really cool. We need to talk to our marketing director about that, because we're still, doing drip email sequences that don't, they're not super intelligent in terms of like when people are responding to them. We'll just fire off another sequence, or we'll try to cut the sequence off if people are responding negatively. But it would be great to be able to actually, manage that using artificial intelligence.
Hey, Cameron, I'd love to hear, like, I know you met Carson on TikTok. Tell me some of the things that you were seeing Carson was doing, some of the applications that really got you intrigued.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the ones that were really interesting to me, he's got a lot of just like really actionable stuff. Like I said, like the one that I was like, oh man, we got to get this guy on the podcast. He and this is not even, I think, one of his best videos. I just was particularly intrigued with it because he used Midjourney to create icon sets that really matched and looked like icon sets that go together properly. For websites and applications and things like that. And I spend a lot of time personally doing that, right? Like we either are downloading, finding, or making icons for many, many different applications. So that was just really cool, because there's a lot of things that go into making icons look like each other, right? You've got kind of the weight of the lines, you've got the color palette, if there is a color palette, you've got, the dimensionality of it. And it's hard to explain that actually to like a junior designer or someone. It's really hard to get somebody to turn out an icon set that's really consistent for a product.
So it's basically using AI to save a ton of time in generating pieces for web development.
Yeah. Well, tell us about how that works, Carson, because I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like when I first started developing my Classroom AI SaaS, like I mean, I was trying to figure out like what I should do for like the icon sets and whatnot, for that, and like a logo, obviously too, because I did not want to pay like a graphic designer to build a logo. So I kind of messed with like a handful of prompts, for like a robot like logo, just because like AI. And like eventually the one that I found that works for me, for like the logo that I have now, which is like it's like this little like blue robot. I just entered enter like a logo for a cute blue and white robot. That's all I did. Just like I was hyper specific with that, and it gave me like it gives you four different options, and like you can just mess with that. You can like regenerate, or you can generate variations of something that it spat out. And like that's how I did that. And I kind of repeated that process for the icons I have now on there.
And you're working within Midjourney for that?
Yeah, I use Midjourney whenever I want to do icon generation.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've definitely messed with Midjourney. DALL-E is very interesting as well, in the types of stuff that it has available to generate. And yeah, I think the image generation is going to be really fascinating as we go into the future. Carson, what are some of the things that you would anticipate kind of happening over the next period of time as artificial intelligence kind of becomes integrated into society? You're really seeing it, at a young age, at a boots on the ground type of level, and really getting your hands dirty with it super early in the boom, so to speak. What are some of the things you see coming down the pipeline?
I think for one, I mean, like there's a lot of people saying like, oh, like AI is gonna replace everybody's jobs, but like the reality is you still need someone that knows how to like use it efficiently. So like, I mean, like the term that I came up with is just like an AI technician or an AI consultant. That's gonna be someone that knows how to take like AI frameworks and implement it into businesses. Whether it's like with like chat bots for support, or like automating processes like I mentioned earlier, or like making designs, or just anything that like AI could be used for businesses, just implementing that there. And I mean, like another thing is like I think like video capabilities. I saw something on Twitter. I think it's called Runaway, which is like an early like version of like this like type of like video editing with AI. I saw like you can just take like an image, and like you can like animate it, or you can take that image and overlay it onto a video. They'll like take the video and put it to that design. And it's just really early, but like I think for sure we're gonna be able to do like a ton of stuff with videos as well.
Well, actually, I just was listening to the founder of Stable Diffusion, or I guess Stability AI, and he's deep in I don't know how to say it, but basically he's involved with Runway ML, and Runway ML this week just showed that new feature you're talking about, where it's basically they're able to create styles over videos. So yeah, turn a video into a Simpsons style, and it's pretty shocking. But I think there's still a long ways to go on it. But I was listening to the podcast literally before we were on here with the founder, and the stuff that he's talking about that's coming down the pike this year. He's talking about like entire movies generated with this Runway ML stuff from scratch. So and he's pretty hawkish on it being this year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He said the Stable Diffusion is just the beginning. What they've got coming down the pike is exponentially better. So it's kind of shocking.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like what you were saying, Carson, about, becoming AI technicians. And maybe that is the term. Maybe you just coined it and it's going to be the term now. Who knows? But I was reading, my wife actually showed me this article yesterday about, because we've been talking about going to Japan next year to kind of experience some of that culture. We've never been there. And so we're probably going to do that next year. And one of the places we were considering staying is a hotel that is manned entirely by robots, because we thought that would be really cool. Well, it turns out, it was opened as this hotel that's manned by robots, and they've got like a velociraptor who checks you in. So it's like an animatronic velociraptor, and then you've got a robot in every single room that's your like personal assistant robot. They've got robots to pick up and carry your luggage and things like that. And what they found, they actually fired half of their robot staff. The article was hilarious. Like, they wrote it very matter-of-factly, but I was like uncontrollably laughing as she was reading it out loud to me. The robot staff was actually creating more work for the workers that were on hand because they were, constantly fixing the robots. They discovered that when guests would snore, the attendant robot in their room would think that they were trying to give a command, and they'd be like, "Hello, how can I help you? I didn't quite get that." And we're just constantly waking up the guests because of that. And they found that even the robots that were supposed to be carrying luggage, their jobs were just way too much for them. So they basically have replaced a lot of those robots. They went the other way. They're de-automating and replacing a lot of robots with people. But I do think that like it's telling that, humans are still like making a lot of these intentional decisions and figuring all that stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think like another thing too is like I think we'll also see like some type of like regulations on some of this stuff too, because like obviously like there's all this cool stuff being built, but I've also seen like some bad stuff like with like high level deep fakes. Like I saw the other day, I saw an ad for like a fitness brand, and it was a deep fake over like a Joe Rogan podcast. And it was Joe Rogan, one of his guests, promoting it, but like it's obviously wasn't them, and that's like not very legal.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I've seen like some other thing with like a Twitch streamer like finding like some inappropriate videos with AI. It's just like, I mean, like yeah, like I think for sure there'll be some regulations put on like AI stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And we have been seeing we've been thinking through a lot of that deep fake stuff. I had this really interesting, concept a while ago that, my wife has been in like commercial film production. She primarily does commercials and is just really, invested in that field. And she really did not think this was an accurate thought process. But my thought process was, I think I could see there being different types of licenses for actors, right? So let's just say you want The Rock in your movie, right? You could do a body capture and get a deep fake of The Rock, and you could get the license to use The Rock's face, or you could get a license to use his deep fake motion capture or whatever. And I almost saw it like levels. Level 1 would be you're allowed to deep fake, and you have to provide the body double or generate it or something like that. Level 2 would be they do a mocap for you offsite in their own studio, in their own, in their own apartment or whatever. And then the highest level would be you actually hire the actor to come in and do the work on site actually with your team. I could see that being a very legitimate possibility, but the regulation on that would certainly have to be enforced, right? Like, how are you going to enforce people not deep faking actors?
Well, I think with that, like just knowing actors, I think that'll be probably the case with actors who have gone over the hill and are just cashing in on their fame. You almost see that on Cameo, the app. So like, former TV stars and all that kind of stuff. But I think the good actors are so afraid. This is why like good actors don't want to jump onto a project unless they completely trust the director, because as the director can destroy them, like destroy the performances that they do, can destroy their reputation, can make them look like a complete idiot in the edit. So I could see it working on the B side for sure. Like that's 100%. That's going to be the case. I mean, we just saw the deep fake of Dolph Lundgren. What's his name? Dolph Lundgren. Yeah, the big giant actor with Old Spice commercial. It's like he's sweating all over everybody in the action scene, and it's his young version of himself. So, so that
I did not see
that's
that.
literally
Isn't Dolph Lundgren? Is he the guy from Rocky?
Yep. He's the Soviet boxer. Yeah.
Light-haired guy. He looks kind of like a jacked version of me.
Yeah. That's exactly what I thought it was. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that kind of an actor, for sure, I think we'll do it. But when you're talking about like a Tom Hanks or even The Rock, not a chance.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Well, and I wonder will there be a frog in a pot of boiling water effect with that? Because the reason I say that is because, you look at Avatar 2, right? So did you see Avatar 2, Carson? It was,
I know.
yeah. It's Sloan and I both obsessively loved it and are, probably going to go lots more times to see it. It was absolutely fantastic. But the reality is, like, all of the actors, in that movie were completely, mocapped, and they still were really focused on delivering good performances. And I think there were some actors in there who are not phoning it in. Like they're giving the performance their lifetime. Yeah, it was really cool.
Well, I wonder. I'd love to hear Carson. So especially, I think what you've been doing is working with the low code or no code stuff, and it's really interesting to me because I almost feel like that's where a big revolution in the next year or two, where people who aren't developers that don't have money to develop, are going to be able to actually build their own SaaS programs or their own applications. Students or like small businesses, medium-sized businesses who couldn't afford to actually hire development teams and spend gobs of money hiring somebody like Cameron, are going to be able to do stuff now. I'd love to hear like your thoughts on like how possible that is. How close are we, and what does that even look like?
Well, yeah, I mean, like right now, you can already build some super advanced stuff with no code or like low code, as you said, within like applications like Bubble or Flutterflow, or even use like Xano within a front end. I mean, like with Bubble, I built my AI tool in there. Like the only actual code I used was just for the text editor, which is some JSON, and then the actual AI component was just an API call, which is relatively no code. It was like 8 lines of code maybe, it's like literally nothing. And then you combine that with more APIs, like connecting to APIs for like other stuff, whatnot. You can make some really advanced stuff. Right now, I have a freelance project where I'm building. It's a sales KPI manager for setters, like handling leads and outreach, and for like closers, like tracking like close rate and like revenue and percentages and all of that. And there's like a bunch of stuff you can do with it. I've seen a lot of cool stuff built with no code as well by some of my buddies.
Well, Cameron, like if somebody was to approach your company to do this in the traditional way, how feasible is it for a company to do that? How many people would it take and how long?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about, let's just say you're talking about doing a sales and KPI tracking tool with pipeline management, and I'm going to have to deploy a team. I mean, I'd have 3 developers working on that for, a period of time. It would cost, I'll just ballpark, it'd cost somewhere between, 20,000 on the lowest end, and it could cost up to like 250,000 or more, to get that sort of application developed. And we're going to have, a 6-month lead time. It takes a long time to build something like that, to do the quality control. And like, I'm literally deploying like a team and an ecosystem in order to develop that kind of stuff. So, and honestly, it's, there's some level on which I feel fear, because of the potential replacement of, I've been very, very influential and integrated and successful in the code space. That's my life. Programming is my life. That's what I do. That's what I employ people to do. And this kind of stuff does scare me, but it also excites me because I know how many problems I have just trying to get this solution. When somebody comes to me with a dream, I almost start telling people who have these dreams of like, I thought of this application. I probably have, 3 people a week, or at least in the height of, time periods where it's going on a lot. I'll have oftentimes 3 people a week tell me about this like great application they want to develop, and they don't realize the cost, right? The cost is tremendous, and the marketing for that. And so I think it's pretty exciting that a lot of those people might get their day in court, so to speak.
Yeah, it cost me $29 a month to run my application. And obviously there's limitations with code versus no code.
Sure.
I mean, like there's some stuff that you can't do full no code, but like with low code, it is possible. And then like one of the big issues that like a lot of people talk about is like scalability. I mean, like sometimes if it gets overloaded with like users, and it's not going to work as well or be slower. Like the reality is like most of these people building these apps, they're never going to reach any type of scalability issue because they're just not going to be good enough at marketing.
Right.
I mean, like I have 13,000 users on mine, and there's like I haven't hit any type of like issues or anything. I mean, like it's probably like 200 to 300 like actually active, just because of like subscription stuff. But I've hit no issues, just like a basic.
Carson, are you connecting to your own API on OpenAI, or do each of them have to input their own keys?
I just use my API key from OpenAI for that. I just plug that into the secret key inside of Bubble. So they have an API connector in there, and it kind of has like everything like set up, like sort of like just like what needs to go where. Like with like headers, you can enter those like parameters, like the body for like the actual API.
And I mean, what's
Got a single Go ahead.
I guess just what's like what kind of cost is this running you for the OpenAI's token system?
It's 2 cents per every 1,000 credits, but I literally just run my thing. Like I mean, I run it on like I don't give unlimited use. So like the model that I launched with was a subscription model, like based on like tiers. But actually, when I update it tomorrow, I'm switching it to pay per use, just to avoid botting issues. Like just have like you use it, like you get like 1,000 free credits, and then you have to buy like more, like as you go along. So that way, like if you're just gonna just use like one time, like just like $5, you have like 5,000 credits, which is probably like 10 to 50 uses on it. And then like I mean you just go from there. And I can like the cool thing about with Bubble is the way it's integrated with all that stuff. It's like I can do the exact tokens that come from OpenAI and have that cost the exact same within my Bubble application.
And you're running 13,000 users off of a single API key with ChatGPT.
Yeah, I mean like not all of them have used it, but I just could like they haven't like gone through the free trial.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I've done, and I haven't even gone through the like you get $18 for free, and I'm at $15 out of that, so I haven't even spent anything out of my own pocket. That's nothing.
That's fantastic. Wow. What is the process for you of coming up with an idea for an application? Like what's if you're looking to create something, how do you think of an idea?
The biggest thing is like I mean like too many people get caught up like trying to like invent something completely new. Or like for like that $1 billion idea, but realistically that's not going to happen. There's so many useless like projects that I've seen developed out there that I just feel sorry because like yeah it's cool, but like it's not like sellable, or like people like not a lot of people are going to want to use it. But the big thing that I do is I take a look at things that I've done personally, and like look at like what processes could be like automated or made easier. Like I mean like the big thing with like the sales tracker is that my partner is like he's a bit of a sales guy. And he knows a lot of salespeople. And the big thing is like all these salespeople, they use a million different spreadsheets or different like applications to host all their stuff and track everything. So that's a no-brainer right there. We're just putting everything into one software, like just a dashboard manager. And I mean, like I forgot to mention like one of the other things that we're doing is like we're adding like a scheduling feature like Calendly. So it makes everything like a lot easier. And with the classroom thing, like I'm a student, and the biggest pain in the ass that I have is like it's been like writer's block, kind of like getting started, just because like I have ADHD, so it's hard to get started with all of that, and like just having like something that like I can like actually use and like go through like okay, like I'm stuck, let me just write some of this really quick with AI and then tweak it, like if it needs tweaking, and like same with like the outlines as well, like with essays, like I like you said, I spend like a lot more time figuring out how to structure than actually write. So that was like the other idea there. It's like basically just like looking at like everything I've done, and what can be improved and put into one software, or automated in any type of sense, and just figuring out how to automate that from there into software.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you mentioned the ADHD component too. I have very significant ADHD, and my last therapist basically told me I had weaponized it by using the hyper focus component of ADHD, which like once you're in something, you're in. Right. So, if I'm working on something, I might not eat, I might not sleep, I might not. I mean, I'm all in. It's happening, or it's that's it. That's the only thing I think about for the entire period of time until I crash badly. Now that's the hyper focus side. The problem with it is when you are trying to switch tasks. I find that it's physically painful to switch tasks. And it can often be miscategorized as laziness, right? Because there are a lot of people in my circle who are ADHD, and it for me is physically painful to switch a task, similar to how if you have to make a phone call to somebody who you're dreading, like if you're gonna quit a job or break up with somebody or whatever, or fire somebody, those types of like gut-wrenching phone calls, it's a really similar pain when you're switching from one task to another. And that's so I think that's something that could be really helped with the the types of software and things that you're working on, because you almost need that like body double to come in and say, I will help you get to the first step of this thing, and then from there, if I get the first step in, I'm good. I'm hyper focused.
Yeah, exactly. Like it just literally just generates the outline. Like it's not going to write in like 3,000 words.
Right.
It's going to give you like 1 to 2 sentences for like each of like the first topics. It'll just tell you like what should go here and what goes there, and like there you start, and then you just research and like look into like what you need to put there.
That's awesome.
Hey Cameron, how do you feel about going into like what's on the news? The latest AI.
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's definitely hit some news here. So a lot has been going on with AI. So Sloan, did you have anything that you wanted to share?
Hit me back, because there was something. I'm just trying to remember it.
So definitely one of the biggest things happening in artificial intelligence news. So Google is really playing the game in a really significant way at this stage. So Google has released Bard, which is kind of a competitor to ChatGPT. And it's really working on a lot of different things. So they are unveiling AI enhancements to search and maps. They are, they had this commercial. Did you see did you see the whole commercial that came out for Bard?
I didn't. I just read about their launch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they dropped the bomb there.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about it, Carson?
I mean, like I've been like keeping up to date, like the Bing and the Google War thing, and like I mean, like it's cool, yeah, but like I'm not really like as impressed as like a lot of other people are with it, if I'm being 100% honest.
Sure.
It's just like a search engine. I mean, like it tells you like where like certain things are, and like kind of like lists that. But like I mean, like it's like I mean they can't really crawl like websites just because like if you it's like they're built on like search engines. So like if you take that take away the actual search engine part by just having them web crawl, they're just gonna lose like a lot of like business and stuff, because people are just gonna switch to like something else.
Right.
I mean like it and like there's like the whole legal like arguments. I saw the Bing or was it Microsoft? Yeah, Microsoft CEO do like an article talking about how like they're not like gonna like allow like their chatbot to crawl search like inside of websites directly, because they need to send the traffic to those sites.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, and certainly I think that one of the reasons Google has dramatically, I mean, they've slow walked their model. They have way more artificial intelligence models. They have way better language processors. They have the best processing power. They are on the top of everything in terms of AI. The only problem, I think, is that it would be kind of a, kill your darlings sort of move for them, because search makes them so much revenue, right? And moving it to, it's actually funny that I said church. I was saying chat and search at the same time. And that's kind of what everyone's trying to develop, right? Is this sort of church model that handles chat and search. But what's the monetization component on that, right? Like how are people going to be able to monetize that in such a way that is going to be, keeping up with the tremendous revenue that Google has been able to?
Well, I heard somewhere about the cost. So right now, I think, and this may be wrong. So, but it was in the All In podcast. They were breaking down like the cost. So right now, I think it costs Google 2.5 cents for every search query. But when you add an AI on top of it, it's going to be about 30 cents for a search query. So, so their model is going to be the margins are going to be way cut in. But I think it's good, because Google's basically been printing money for the last 20 years. So, it is interesting. It's the guys on All In were just talking about how potentially Microsoft is just doing this to start a garbage fire, and even though they're not going to make that much money, they're going to disrupt the actual industry.
Yeah. Yep. That's a great point. I was seeing too. So this is international. Baidu. Are you familiar with Baidu? Is basically called the Google of China. It's got search, maps, email, ads, cloud storage, and it's also been investing really heavily in AI and machine learning. And so they are planning on revealing their own AI-powered chatbot in March. So that is coming up really quick, and they don't have a name for it yet. But it is basically being powered by their ERNIE system, which is enhanced language representation with informational entities. So it's an AI model with 10 billion parameters. So it's actually, I believe that's bigger than ChatGPT's GPT model in terms of the parameters that it actually has. I don't think parameters are everything. That's it's like megapixels on a camera, right?
But you know that the Chinese government has got them filtering and censoring that model before they release it.
Totally.
Totally. Well, go ahead. I figured out what the news is. So go ahead.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, I was just gonna ask. So Carson, one thing that we've been talking a lot about on this podcast is this concept of source abstraction. So basically, when you start out with a source that's really a reliable source, you've got let's just say you've got a peer-reviewed paper, or you've got a book that's been published or something like that. There's some level of quality control over that and verification of the facts. And so, Google would then present a list of articles that are referencing that source material, but they're mostly giving you the marketing articles written to explain to you. Now we've got this other level of abstraction where we have the answer is given to you in human language, and it's built out of 3 million, sources that are largely marketing articles, but also some of the original source material and things like that. And so this abstraction is causing us to get further and further away from actual verifiable sources. So do you have any thoughts on that as we kind of go into the future?
I mean, I haven't really thought too much about that, but just thinking about it right now, I mean, when it comes to that kind of information, I'd rather just use the article if I'm being 100% honest, just because I'd rather hear it from human form, than get it from a robot.
Yeah.
Right now, just because it's still relatively newer. I mean, I don't think we're at a point where the robot's gonna be way more way better.
I honestly think that the power of it's this ChatGPT, it's novel to be in a search engine. I think that's cool, but really the power is this thing understands what you are saying and then can predict what it needs to respond to afterwards. And I honestly think that where the power is going to be, and maybe I'm completely off, but you have the human who says something, and you have this as a translator between another process. So where ChatGPT can translate into some other machine learning algorithm or some other thing that can generate what you need. So you no longer as a human have to become a coder to get big things accomplished. You know what I mean? So I think that's where these language models that can actually be the most powerful is the mediator between us and the machine.
Yeah. Well, and I've been thinking about artificial intelligence, for a very long time. It's been something that I've talked to all my friends about. I've talked to, like, everybody has known that that's something that's really a strong concern to me for a lengthy period of time. And one of the things that I was very, and maybe I should have just gone for it, and like really just tried to jump into this field, years ago when I knew it was going to be a thing. But one of the things that I've been so concerned about is democratizing the access to it. And so I think the user interface was what I always said, like the UX of AI is going to be the thing that changes and democratizes access, things like that. Now, I didn't think, oh, it's going to be chat, but obviously it's going to be chat, right? Like there's... That's the easiest way to interact with a system. I just didn't realize how easy that could actually be if the language model is able to handle actually chatting with humans,
Well,
I mean, like that's where the where like the open AI stuff kind of comes into play with like all those integrations. Because I mean, I've seen some GPT clones. That's just like they just look a lot nicer than like the actual like GPT product, and like they store data a lot better. Like I mean, like you can go through and like look at like all of like your prompts, like see like I've seen some like sorted like based on like the type of like topic that it's under. I mean, like there's an app called I think it's Chat Sonic, which is like it's more up to date than ChatGPT is. Then I mean, like yeah, there's just like a lot of products that just look a lot nicer and they're a lot more usable because of that.
Sloan, what were you going to say?
well, yeah, I'm gonna have to get going soon. Kids are here. But the one cool thing and scary thing is it's by 11 Labs, and it is a speech synthesizer. And literally, I was able to take 1.5 minutes of dialogue, put it in there, and then it sounds exactly like it's able to replicate their voice. So I could put my voice in there, and within 1.5 minutes, it's a viable clone of my voice, and I can make myself say anything. So, and then I just saw something today that they just came up with another article, another researcher that only needs, I think it's in video, 3 seconds of your speech, and it can copy you. And so what's scary, and I just told my father-in-law this. I said, you're going to receive a phone call from me this year, and it's not going to be me. It's going to be a scammer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Carson, thanks so much for joining again. Really appreciate you being here today. And so this has been the Post AI podcast. So thanks for being on board. You can find Carson's stuff at No Code Carson on both Twitter and TikTok. So Carson, thank you. Do you have any final words for those who, are focused on developing with AI? Any advice to leave us with?
Yeah, I mean, like I just deep dive into Bubble right now. I mean, like it's starting to like gain like a lot more traction. I jump into it like right now, go watch some tutorials. I'm like I'd check out Build Camp or Building with Bubble for sure. I deep dive into those right now and start building.
Bubble would be where you would start with right now.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here, and everyone, thanks for listening.